The blind date mystery. Elara had always been a planner. Her life was a meticulous spreadsheet of goals, ambitions, and contingency plans. Spontaneity was a glitch in the system, an unwelcome error message. So, when her best friend, Maya, strong-armed her into a blind date, Elara felt a tremor of panic. "It's time, Elara," Maya had declared, her voice ringing with the conviction of a seasoned general. "You've been buried in your work for years. You need a dose of the unexpected. This David, he's different, trust me." Elara did trust Maya implicitly, but different could mean anything. It could mean socially awkward, aesthetically challenged, or worst of all, someone who questioned her meticulously organized life. Nevertheless, she agreed. The date was set at the Whispering Willow, a cozy little cafe tucked away on a quiet street. Elara arrived precisely at 7 p.m., her navy blue dress perfectly pressed, her expression a mask of cautious optimism. She spotted a man sitting at a corner table, nursing a cup of coffee. He had kind eyes, a warm smile, and a white cane resting beside his chair. A wave of discomfort washed over Elara. David was blind. Her carefully constructed world wobbled. She wasn't prejudiced, not at all. But she hadn't prepared for this. Her mental script for the evening dissolved into a jumbled mess. She almost turned around, ready to invent a sudden family emergency, but something stopped her. Curiosity, perhaps, or maybe a sliver of empathy that nudged her forward. Taking a deep breath, Elara approached the table. "David?" she asked, her voice a little too high-pitched. He looked up, his smile widening. "Elara, please, sit down. It's so good to finally meet you." As Elara sat across from him, she struggled to maintain her composure. She peppered him with polite, impersonal questions about his work, his hobbies, anything to avoid the elephant in the room, his blindness. David answered with surprising candor and an infectious enthusiasm. He was a sculptor, he explained, creating tactile art that allowed others to experience the world through touch. He loved hiking, using his other senses to navigate trails. He even joked about his uncanny ability to choose the perfect ripe avocado. But Elara couldn't fully relax. She felt clumsy, awkward, and acutely aware of her own cited privilege. Every time she gestured, described a scene, or even subtly glanced around the cafe, she felt a pang of guilt. Then David said something that stopped her in her tracks. "You seem tense. Is everything all right?" His perception startled her. How could he tell? She forced a smile. "I'm fine. Just a little tired, I guess." He chuckled softly. "You know, sometimes we hide behind masks. I can't see them with my eyes, but I can hear them in your voice." That was it. The wall she had so carefully built around herself began to crumble. She confessed her discomfort, her awkwardness, her fear of saying the wrong thing. David listened patiently, his expression thoughtful. When she finished, he reached across the table and gently took her hand. "Elara," he said, his voice soft and reassuring. "It's okay to be unsure. It's okay to be uncomfortable. The important thing is that you're here, willing to learn." He then shared his own story, not dwelling on the challenges of blindness, but highlighting the opportunities it had presented. Losing his sight had forced him to rely on his other senses, to connect with the world in a deeper, more meaningful way. It had taught him patience, resilience, and the importance of human connection. As the evening progressed, Elara began to see David not as the blind man, but as a complex, intelligent, and incredibly inspiring individual. She listened intently as he described the texture of clay, the scent of pine needles on a mountain trail, the way music vibrated through his body. He painted vivid pictures with his words, filling in the gaps where her vision fell short. She, in turn, found herself opening up, sharing her own vulnerabilities and insecurities. She talked about her relentless pursuit of perfection, her fear of failure, her loneliness despite her outward success. David listened with genuine empathy, offering gentle encouragement and insightful observations. He didn't judge her, didn't try to fix her. He simply accepted her for who she was. By the end of the night, Elara felt a sense of liberation she hadn't experienced in years. She had stepped outside her comfort zone. confronted her own biases, and discovered a connection with someone who saw the world in a completely different way. As David walked her to her car, he turned to her. "Thank you, Elara," he said, his voice sincere, "for seeing me, not just my blindness." Elara's heart fluttered. "Thank you, David," she replied, "for showing me how to see." The next few weeks were a whirlwind. Elara and David spent hours talking, exploring the city, and learning from each other. She discovered a new appreciation for the simple things in life. The warmth of the sun on her skin, the sound of laughter, the taste of freshly baked bread. She started volunteering at a local arts center for visually impaired children, helping them explore their creativity. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. Elara's meticulously planned life started to unravel. Her work suffered, her apartment became cluttered, and her friends raised eyebrows at her newfound spontaneity. Some people didn't understand her relationship with David, whispering behind her back, questioning her motives. One evening, overwhelmed and frustrated, Elara called Maya. "I don't know if I can do this," she confessed, her voice trembling. "My life is falling apart. Everyone thinks I'm crazy. Maybe they're right." Maya listened patiently, then said, "Elara, is this making you happy?" She paused, letting the question sink in. "Are you expanding yourself and finding happiness?" Elara thought about it. It was a challenge, but it was the best kind of challenge. "I think so, yes." "Then ignore the noise," Maya said firmly. "You've always been so focused on what you should do. You forgot to ask yourself what you want to do. Don't let anyone else dictate your happiness." That conversation was a turning point. Elara realized that she couldn't please everyone. She couldn't control the opinions of others. All she could control was her own attitude and her own choices. She decided to embrace the chaos, to let go of her need for perfection and to trust her own instincts. She restructured her life, prioritizing her relationships and her well-being. She learned to say no to things that didn't align with her values. And most importantly, she continued to explore her relationship with David. They weren't without their challenges. Of course, there were moments of frustration, misunderstanding, and doubt. But they persevered, communicating openly, supporting each other, and celebrating their differences. 1 year later, Elara and David stood on a mountaintop, hand in hand. They had hiked there together, David relying on Elara's guidance, Elara relying on David's unwavering spirit. As they looked out at the breathtaking view, Elara realized that she had never felt so alive. She had come to the mountain a planner, a controller, a prisoner of her own expectations. She was now a free spirit, open to possibilities and deeply in love. David had helped her see the world in a new light, not just with her eyes, but with her heart. He turned to her, his smile radiant. "What do you see, Elara?" he asked. She looked at him, at the mountains, at the sky, and at the vast expanse of 𝙿𝙤 som levde for them. "I see everything, David," she said, her voice filled with emotion. "I see everything." Moral of the story: life greatest discoveries of the 𝙿𝙤𝙤𝙤𝙤, embrace the unexpected, share your biases, and they open to seeing the world with a different lens. True connection lies not in shared journeys, and in shared action that be 𝙿𝙤𝙤𝙬 to relay the sweat. Let go of control and trust that the most beautiful chapters be life, the ones they never claimed. Rolling you up with their happiness they never expected.